Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to be here today to talk about a very important topic, the hidden dangers of infatuation. On this first slide, you'll see the title and subtitle. This sets the stage for what we'll explore together. Over the course of this presentation, we'll look at how infatuation feels so exciting and full of potential, but also how it can sometimes obscure warning signs. So, let's dive in and uncover the truths behind those feelings. When we talk about attraction, it's important to recognize that not every person we feel drawn to is actually someone who will make a good partner. Sometimes, attraction can be misleading. It can trick us into overlooking their flaws or rationalizing toxic behaviors that should raise red flags. We might also ignore signs that someone isn't emotionally available or safe for us to be with. Understanding the types of crushes we should steer clear of is really crucial. By doing so, we can save ourselves a lot of heartache and also avoid wasting years of emotional energy on the wrong people. This is a key part of the overall journey to healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Recognizing when attraction is clouding our judgment helps us make better choices and find truly compatible partners. Now, let's dive into some common types of toxic crushes that you should be aware of. These are the relationships or interactions that can really harm your well-being if you're not careful. The first one is the disappeared. This is when someone suddenly becomes unreachable or unresponsive, leaving you feeling confused and unvalued. It's a clear sign to pay attention to your own emotional health. Next is the brag-off, where the person constantly tries to one-up you or show off their achievements, often making you feel small or insignificant. Then there's the put-down, which involves subtle or not-so-subtle criticism designed to undermine your confidence. The bully is pretty straightforward, someone who uses their words or actions to intimidate or belittle you. The cheater, of course, is someone who is dishonest or unfaithful, which can lead to deep trust issues. The freeloader takes advantage of your kindness without giving anything back, and the isolator works to cut you off from friends and family, making you more dependent on them. Recognizing these toxic patterns is crucial because, at the end of the day, protecting your well-being must always come before chasing fleeting infatuation. Let's talk about the disappeared. You know the type, they show up just enough to keep your interest alive, but then suddenly vanish without any explanation. Maybe they leave you on read, avoid meeting up, or just disappear when things start to get serious. This kind of behavior is actually pretty toxic. It creates a lot of emotional instability because you're left in the dark, not knowing where you stand. Instead of being honest, whether they're feeling the same way or not, they take the easy way out and disappear. Often, this pattern is linked to underlying issues like fear of commitment or discomfort with confrontation. They might be afraid of hurting you or facing difficult conversations, so they choose to disappear instead. The impact on you can be really draining. You end up stuck in a state of confusion, constantly hopping for some clarity that never actually comes. What you deserve, though, is a partner who respects your feelings enough to be honest, no matter how tough the truth might be. You deserve someone who communicates openly and respects your need for clarity. Now, let's take a closer look at two more types of crushes that can be quite toxic. First, we have the brag-off. This is the kind of crush where someone uses your affection as a way to boost their ego. They might hint to others about your feelings, keep you close just enough to keep you hooked, but without any real intention of reciprocating. Essentially, they bask in the validation of being desired, rather than genuinely valuing you. Why is this toxic? Well, it's because their attention is driven by self-importance, not by a real connection. It often masks underlying issues like immaturity or a need to inflate their self-worth through external admiration. Now, the impact on you can be pretty damaging: false hope, emotional limbo, and a lot of wasted effort on someone who never truly plans to give back. So, what do you deserve instead? Someone who values you for who you are, not just what your attention does for their image. Next, let's talk about the put-down. This one might seem playful at first, like teasing, but it can go way too far. This crush belittles others, mocks weaknesses, or disguises cruelty as humor. And unfortunately, they rarely take accountability for their words or actions. This behavior is toxic because it often reflects low self-esteem. They try to build themselves up by tearing others down, which is never a healthy foundation for a relationship. The impact on you can be serious. If you start dating someone like this, you might find yourself becoming the next target. Constant criticism chips away at your confidence over time. So, what should you look for instead? A partner who uplifts, encourages, and makes you feel good about yourself. Someone who helps you grow, not someone who undermines you. Let's talk about two types of people you should be cautious of in relationships. First, the bully. They might charm you at first, maybe even seem exciting or rebellious, but watch out for how they treat others, waiters, strangers, or even your friends. Showing rudeness or cruelty is a red flag. Sure, that bad boy or bad girl appeal can feel thrilling, but remember, cruelty is never a solid foundation for love. It's a sign of deeper issues, like a lack of empathy or poor values. And even if they're nice to you initially, there's no guarantee they won't treat you the same way down the line. You deserve someone who shows respect to everyone, not just when it benefits them. Now, moving on to the cheater. If your crush has a history of cheating, especially if ex-partners confirm it, be very cautious. Studies show cheaters are 3 times more likely to cheat again. That's a clear sign of commitment issues and a lack of respect for boundaries. Being with someone like that can lead to constant anxiety, mistrust, and a high risk of betrayal. You deserve a partner who values loyalty, who keeps promises, and who doesn't repeat destructive patterns. Remember, healthy relationships are built on respect, trust, and integrity. Now let's talk about the sixth type, the freeloader. This is someone who always asks for favors but rarely gives anything in return. They might even use your feelings as leverage, knowing that you're less likely to say no. This creates a really unhealthy dynamic. Why is it toxic? Because one-sided relationships breed resentment and drain your energy. Underneath, it often points to a pattern of exploitation, whether they realize it or not. The impact on you. You might start to confuse being needed with being truly loved, and unfortunately, your kindness gets taken advantage of. So, what do you deserve? You deserve mutual effort, reciprocity, and a partner who values giving just as much as receiving. Now, moving on to the seventh type, the isolator. This is someone who wants to separate you from your friends, family, or support system. They might subtly, or even directly, discourage you from spending time with others, trying to become your only source of connection. Why is this toxic? Because isolation is a classic warning sign of emotional abuse. It can make you lose perspective, your independence, and the safety net of people who care about you. So, what should you look for? A healthy partner respects your relationships and encourages your independence. They understand that strong, supportive connections are vital for your well-being. Now, let's talk about recognizing these patterns that can often be subtle but have a significant impact on our well-being. When we see someone as the disappeared, they might be inconsistent in their presence or show emotional instability, which can leave us feeling uncertain or undervalued. Then, there's the brag-off, where ego-driven attention replaces genuine connection. It's more about impressing than truly engaging. The put-down can be sneaky too, disguising belittling comments as humor, but over time, that erodes confidence and self-esteem. Next, we have the bully, who disrespects others and shows a lack of empathy, creating a toxic environment. The cheater brings in issues of betrayal and commitment problems, often undermining trust. The freeloader takes advantage of kindness through one-sided favors, exploiting relationships for personal gain. Lastly, the isolator seeks to separate you from your support systems, controlling your interactions and increasing their influence over you. Understanding these behaviors is crucial because they can sneak into our lives in subtle ways. Recognizing these patterns helps us protect our well-being and maintain healthier relationships, which is really the core message of today's presentation. Let's talk about the simple truth of what you truly deserve in a relationship. Crushes can be exciting and fun, but they also have a way of clouding our judgment. When admiration turns into obsession, it becomes easy to overlook red flags, hoping that love will somehow change toxic behavior. But the reality is, relationships built on manipulation, ego, disrespect, or control are only going to hurt your mental and emotional health in the long run. What you really deserve is someone who is consistent, kind, respectful, and emotionally available. Remember, you deserve someone who lifts you up and makes you feel safe, not someone who diminishes or harms you. Keep this in mind as you navigate your relationships, and always choose what's best for your well-being. So, here's the final piece of the puzzle: choosing your peace. When you notice that your crush is showing signs of immaturity or toxicity, it can be really tempting to hold on, thinking things might change or that your feelings might somehow justify staying. But the most important thing to remember is that your well-being always comes first. Sometimes, the healthiest choice is to let go, even if your heart feels resistant or sad about it. Because at the end of the day, love should never come at the expense of your peace. It should be a force that protects and nurtures it. This is about valuing yourself enough to prioritize your emotional health and recognizing that sometimes walking away is the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for your future happiness.